Hello everyone and welcome to question 53 of the Q&A series. Have you ever had an instrument tailor-made for you? If so, why? And what could be the advantages and disadvantages? No, I've not had an instrument tailor-made for me. I wish I had the money to do so though. But I can sort of go about this at a slightly different angle to begin with and say that I am left-handed, but I've never played a left-handed instrument, so even with that, I don't go for those, I guess. They're tailor-made, but tailor-made for a specific group of people, not just for one person. I presume they were probably invented for one person in mind. You know, probably a left-handed musician thought, I want these to be invented because I'm struggling, but I don't see the point. I started learning violin. There's not really an option for a left-handed violin. I think there is, but why? And because of that, there was no need for me to ever learn anything else left-handed. Why would I buy a left-handed guitar? Because I play violin like this. This is your bowing hand, which translates to strumming and finger picking, and this is the fingerboard hand, which again goes to the fretboard. Why would I then, turn it over? It did make for good fun in my placement actually at a primary school where a lot of the children would try and flip their ukuleles over and go, "Oh, it's because I'm left-handed, miss," and I'd just go, "Yes, so am I, but I learn on the right-handed instruments. It pays off in the long run, I think, in my opinion. But again, if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not here to slander anyone for this. But for some instruments, I think you can make certain adaptations, which I guess would then be sort of tailor-made adaptations for, disabilities on custom instruments, but depends on the instrument. It could be quite tricky. Not well knowledge in that at all, if I'm honest. But the area you hear about custom-built instruments the most is in guitars. I guess bass guitars as well, but custom-built guitars. I actually know of someone that does custom guitar builds and things. If you want to check him out, I think he's got a YouTube channel. It's 4th Avenue Guitars. I think that would be it. If not, I'll drop the comment in the section. And he does these great British guitar build-off things, competitions that run every year, and he builds something for that, and he builds custom-built guitars for people, etc., etc. And the joy with this is it's actually because you can be quite experimental with guitars, and you can use different materials to create different sounds coming from the sound hole. You can use different colours that make it look really nice. You can put the sound hole, instead of it just being in the centre, you can do various different ways of where the sound comes from. You can do them, fully acoustic, semi-acoustic, fully electric, etc., etc. You can have sort of, I know obviously guitars already come 6 strings, you can get 7 strings, all the way up to 12 strings, and you can change that. So a custom built guitar, you can then factor in that as well. You can sort of merge together the best parts of all of the guitars you like and get the guitar you want that you can't buy from any store ever. And then it's your guitar, there's not going to be another one out there like it. And that's really amazing as well, and you can get sort of really good parts in it, you can get really good pickups on it, all those sorts of things. And just nice patterns on it, and all those things. It's just really cool, isn't it? Whereas if you were to take an instrument like a saxophone, clarinet or trumpet, any of those instruments, and you wanted to custom make that, you're much more limited. There's a mechanical way that a saxophone has been built, and you can't just change it to be a different type of metal or different thing like that. It doesn't work the same as a guitar. Essentially, it is the instrument it is because that's how it's been developed. If you were to change that, then you're almost creating a new instrument, I guess, if you like, or a fusion of instruments. Same with violin and the string instrument family in that sense. If you were to change things like where the sound holes are, where you got the F holes on the instruments, that would then just change it, and it would be essentially just another string instrument that's probably actually already existed in the past. Because loads of string instruments have been made, and you know this is how we've got the family of string instruments we have today, because they've evolved from previous models that have existed. This is the best we can do at the moment. That is. So yeah, and you could end up essentially with like the woodwind instruments or wind instruments. You can essentially end up with not a very good instrument in the end. But mechanically saxophones are complicated. I wouldn't want to change any of that. The only thing you can do is you can get like handmade ones and tailor-made ones, but they are no different mechanically speaking to ones you'd buy in a shop. But naturally it's because they're obviously handmade and things like that they're more expensive. But usually other ones of that exist anyway. Like the saxophone I've got had handmade touches on it or something like that. But there are still lots of that exact saxophone out there. But again, interestingly, then all saxophones are different. You could play literally the same model of saxophone. You could play multiple of that model and they would all be ever so slightly different. The tuning on them would be different and things. So in a way, they are kind of all tailored to you, because you have to learn how to play them, and what works best for you. My two saxophones I've got aren't the same. I have to play one ever so slightly different to the other. Keys can be just ever so slightly in a different place that your hands aren't quite used to. Anyway, enough on that. But yes, if you do get things like a custom built guitar, that can really attract a good audience, especially if you're in a room full of guitarists, because you can get a really nice sounding instrument and it is unique to you, and that is, that is amazing. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Cheers, bye.